tell us, what is a soulpreneur?
Cool. Well, basically, from my perspective, a soulpreneur is really anyone who decides to step up and share their light and their love with the world with the intention of really living their purpose. And they really feel that they're here to really contribute to the world in a beautiful way. And that could be anyone from a musician or an artist through to, of course, healers and coaches and teachers and all sorts of people. It's really anyone that really just makes the commitment to wanting to step up and really, bring more love into the world.
Yeah. I love that you are providing this space for people to learn business tools and marketing tools and all of that stuff, but in such a beautiful, soul-centered way. There's so much stuff out there that's all about making a 7-figure business or a 6-figure business. And I think for a lot of the people watching, that's not why they're getting into this sort of business.
Totally.
And as you said, marketing is such a scary word. It can be something that we just go, we don't want to be the salesperson and we don't want to be pushy, all of those things. So how do you market your business or your program or your workshop in a way that's still really heart-centered and authentic for yourself?
Yeah. Well,
it's a big question.
It's a massive question. So I've got a whole course for it. But I think some of the key things is really that, I know that it gets talked about a lot, but it's true. Authenticity is so, so important. And your audience really needs to feel your authenticity. And that can be through you sharing your own personal stories. And sometimes that means being vulnerable. And you need to know how vulnerable you want to be, because you want to be safe in sharing your story and you want to sort of be through it and to be able to more reflect on the story and the lessons that you learned. So, maybe it might be things that happened in your teenage years that you can, stories that you can share about experiences that you had and what you learned through it or what you wish that you had known at that time. But if you're still kind of, really in it and still haven't sort of moved through it and healed through it and healed from it, then it might not yet be time. So really recognizing when it's time. But definitely authenticity, definitely consistency is a big thing as well that we talk about a lot, and being consistent in the way that your business looks and feels and what you're doing. Focus is really important as well, rather than being sort of one day because so many of us are so multi-passionate and have so many ideas, and it's really important for us to be just really focused on what we're doing and what we're putting out into the world so that we're not confusing our audience with one day we're doing, we're talking about one topic and the next day we're talking about something completely different. There needs to be, a sort of baseline focus, and you can then add things on later. So, you might start at first with, okay, I'm going to do workshops and I'm going to do blog posts, and that's what I'm going to do. And that's great. And then later on, you might be able to add digital programs and physical products and all of these things. But just remembering that at the beginning, you sort of want that baseline, this is what you do, this is who you are. So for example, at the beginning when I first started Earth HQ, that I actually didn't start Earth HQ until I started it with Earth Events. So we had Earth Events for our first year, and it was all about events. So even though behind the scenes I was doing PR for people and representation for people, marketing and all sorts of just freelance things, but I was keeping them sort of under the surface, I guess you could say. So that it was very clear, we are Earth Events and this is what we do. We're a company who do events in the health, spirituality. Well, this is who we are, and this is what we do. A year later, we were able to start adding other things like a digital magazine, and then we went out with the agency, and then we started doing the academy with the digital programs and things like that, sort of into the third year, and that's now all that we do. But I didn't come out with, we're Earth HQ and this is the 50 different things that we do. So really having that focus at the beginning, and also because not only does it help give your audience clarity on who you are and allow you to be positioned as the best in what you do, but it also helps you energetically, because getting a business off the ground is really challenging. There's a huge amount of energy and emotion and work that goes into it. So just really picking picking what you're going to focus on. So you might decide that for your first year or your first 6 months, you're just going to focus on creating the best workshops in your area or the best digital program for this particular person, or there might just be or one-on-one coaching that you want to be positioning yourself as the best one-on-one coach for people in this demographic in this area, or just really focus on one thing, maybe two things, but no more than two things kind of at once. I think that is really, really important and very hard for us multi-passionate soulpreneurs.
And that means you'll actually get stuff done, right? Like we can start so many different things and then we never really share anything special with the world because we're on to the next thing.
Yeah, absolutely.